Welcome back to our weekly talk show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is having a wonderful night. I'd like to start our show by mentioning that our very special guest, Christopher John Francis Boone, has a mild form of autism. Christopher has poor social skills because of his inability to imagine what other people are feeling or thinking. Christopher also recognizes and takes pride in his strengths that result from his condition, like his remarkable memory and his talent for math. And now, without further ado, let's get right into our first scene.
What in fuck's name have you done to my dog?
How can I help you?
Do you know Kill Wellington?
Who are you?
I'm Christopher Boone from number 36. I know you. You're Mr. Thompson.
I'm Mr. Thompson's brother.
Do you know who killed him?
Who the fuck is Wellington?
Mrs. Shear's dog. She's from number 41.
Someone killed her dog?
Yeah, with a fork.
Jesus Christ.
With a garden fork.
Oh,
Do you know who killed him?
I haven't a bloody clue.
Do you know of anyone who would want to hurt Mrs. Shears?
Perhaps you should ask your father.
I would ask my father, but he told me to stay out of other people's businesses.
So, maybe he's got a point, Christopher.
So you do not have a single clue.
No. You be careful, young man.
I will be. Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you.
In this scene, father returns home from work and sees my novel. He browses it and learns about my murder mystery. I didn't realize for a moment that he was angry. He asked me if the conversation that I had with Mrs. Alexander is true. I told him that it was, and father grabbed me hard, like he never had before. Frightened, I started to hit father. After that, my memory goes blank. I don't remember a thing, but when my consciousness came back, I had blood on my hand and the side of my head was pounding. Wow, I'm very sorry to hear this, Christopher. This is really impressive to me that despite all these horrible things happening to you, you continue to use your intelligence and your rare traits to solve this mystery for a good cause.
Do you know anything about Wellington getting killed?
Oh, I'm afraid you're going to have to speak louder. I'm a little deaf.
Do you know anything about Wellington getting killed?
Oh, yes, I heard about it yesterday. It was dreadful. Dreadful.
Do you know who killed him?
No, I don't.
Well, somebody must know because the person who killed him knows that they killed him. Unless that person was mad and they don't know what they were doing, or unless that person had amnesia.
Well, I suppose you're probably right.
Do you know Mr. Shears?
Well, you know, just well enough to say hello here and there, but nothing too serious.
Father said he was an evil man.
Oh, well, I don't think you should be asking around about this, Christopher.
Why?
I don't think your father would like it very much.
Why not?
Well, let's just say some things are better left unknown.
Did he kill my mother?
No, why would you say such a thing?
Because, he was an evil man.
Well, evil was a strong word, but let's just say that maybe, well, you've got to promise me, Christopher, that you won't say anything to anyone.
I promise.
Really?
Yes, really.
Well, your mother and Mr. Shears, they were really good friends.
What do you mean?
They were really, really, really good friends. They were very close.
You mean they were doing sex?
Yes, Christopher, that's what they were doing. That's what I mean. I understand that it might be hard for you to hear, but you know, that is what it is.
This scene is when Mrs. Alexander reveals that Mr. Shears and Mother had an affair. She explained that Father dislikes Mr. Shears as a result, and that I should not mention Mr. Shears in front of Father. Mrs. Alexander makes me promise not to tell Father about our conversation. So I went home. Christopher, your search for information about Wellington's murderer turns up information about your own family. I mean, I guess you could say you set out to uncover the person who committed one crime, but instead discovered the truth about your parents and your father's reason for disliking Mr. Shears. When Mrs. Alexander tells you about the affair, you seem shocked and just want to go home rather than continuing with your investigation. However, this doesn't stop you from solving the mystery, and I find this very fascinating to see how you share the same trait Sherlock Holmes uses to solve his mysteries, which is the ability to focus your attention entirely on one problem, that being Wellington's murder.
I think I know who killed the dog.
Why are you still solving the mystery?
Because Mrs. Alexander told me to.
What have you done, son?
In this scene, Father returns home from work and sees my novel. He browses it and learns about my murder mystery. I didn't realize for a moment that he was angry. He asked me if the conversation that I had with Mrs. Alexander is true. I told him that it was, and Father grabbed me hard, like he never had before. Frightened, I started to hit Father. After that, my memory goes blank. I don't remember a thing, but when my consciousness came back, I had blood on my hand and the side of my head was pounding. Wow, I'm very sorry to hear this, Christopher. This is really impressive to me that despite all these horrible things happening to you, you continue to use your intelligence and your rare traits to solve this mystery for a good cause. In this scene, I went to Father's room to search for my novel, which he had hidden. It was in his drawer along with some letters that were addressed to me. I grabbed one and began reading it. It came from a person who claimed to have relocated to London with a quote-unquote Roger. The letter concluded with the phrase, "Love Mom." Now I had a new mystery regarding Mother. The date on the letter was 1 year after Mother's death. So I asked myself, where is my mother? Why haven't I heard from her? Should I find her? If this was true, that would mean Father had lied to me. Christopher, I know you're somebody that believes that logic and careful thinking can find a rational explanation for any mystery. And I know that you feel that there's an explanation for your mom's letter, but you just need to find out what that explanation is. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out, and if it'll interfere with solving Wellington's murder mystery. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for tonight. Thank you all so much for coming out and listening to Christopher. And I know I left you guys on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So if you're curious to see if Christopher finds out what happened to Wellington, and to see what happens with his mother, you guys can go purchase his murder mystery novel, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, at most bookstores.
Okay, roll.
I think I know who killed the dog. Why are you still solving the mystery?
Because Mrs. Alexander told me to.
Why are you still... Fuck! What in the fuck's name have you done to my dog?
You can't be laughing, bro.
I'm laughing, bro.
You can't be laughing.